Hi again. Thank you for joining. We're going to get started now. Those of you who joined late, you guys can introduce yourself in the chat. Just tell us a little bit about you, your business, or what is your website. Let's get started now. We hope that your families, your teams, and you are safe and healthy. The topic for today's webinar is strategies to prepare e-commerce businesses for post-COVID era. I think we still have a lot of time left for the post-COVID era. So let's make the most of it and let's prepare ourselves for that time. The speakers of this webinar are Anshuk Aggarwal, CEO and co-founder of AdYogi, and Umair Mohammad, founder and CEO of Wigzo Technologies Private Limited. We'll be taking up questions after the speaker sessions, so please keep sending us your questions via the Q&A button at the bottom of your screens. We'll also be recording the webinar. The same will be shared with you via your registered email IDs, so don't worry if you miss out on anything, we've got you covered. Without further ado, let's get started. First of all, we have Anshuk. Over to you, Anshuk.
Thank you, Manasvi. Thank you everyone for joining for the webinar today. I know a lot of us have been impacted by COVID, and a lot of us, I think most of us must be working out of home. So we thought this might be a good time to talk about some of the silver lining on the COVID. What is it that as an e-commerce company you can do during the COVID crisis? And what are some of the strategies which you can do after the COVID crisis subsides? So today I'll be talking about this in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And I'll walk you through some of the strategies which our brands have used. So firstly, I know a lot of you as e-commerce brands must be facing challenges during COVID. What we interacted with a lot of brands over the last couple of weeks, and we came across some of the common challenges which everyone seems to be facing. The first common thing which we heard is, I'm not able to deliver my orders due to restrictions. So why should I even consider running my ads on Facebook and Instagram? Second challenge was more right around, I'm able to get a lot of traffic on my website, but for some reason, the conversion rate has come down. There are also cases where people are facing challenges with sourcing their products, either because they are sourcing cross-border or due to disruptions in the supply chain. As part of my presentation today, I'll try to cover some of the marketing challenges which a lot of brands are facing. And I'll try to give some solutions to what can be done during this time. So I think the most common question is on the marketing side is, why should I ever even consider running my marketing campaigns during COVID? And I'll give you 3 reasons why I think you should consider running your marketing campaigns. The first one is the cost of impression on Facebook has come down. So we did an analysis across multiple geographies, and we figured out that across most geographies, there is a 60 to 80% reduction in the cost of ads on Facebook and Instagram. 60% is what we saw in North America. In some of the Asian countries, we saw it close to around 80%. And the reason is because of demand-supply mismatch. I'll talk about it in my next slide. The second key reason is more time spent online. Now, I know a lot of us are sitting at home doing work from home, and inevitably, I think they're spending more time on social media. So one of the recent research said that there is an 87% increase in the amount of time spent on social media. So you can imagine that a lot of your potential customers who were probably not on social media earlier are definitely now spending more time. So good time to engage with them. And the third reason is a lot of brands has stopped advertising on social media, which essentially means that there is a possibility some of your competitors are not present on Facebook today, which gives you a better chances of being present in the eyes of your potential customer. So 3 reasons. Moving to the next slide, this is actual data which we plotted of cost per impressions, CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, in North America for a brand which we are currently working with. As you can see, in the first week of March, the cost of 1,000 impressions was close to $15 in North America. And around 15th of March, you can see there was a big drop. This was a time when curfew was announced in a lot of countries and borders were closed. So there is a 60% drop, as you can see, and after 20th of March, the cost of impression has remained more or less in the same range. So we would expect it to remain similar range in the month of April as well. So all that is fine, and I'm sure you are still saying that if I'm not getting any sales, why should I even spend a single dollar on marketing? So let me take you through some of the case studies and let me see if I'm able to convince you otherwise. All right. So this is the traditional marketing funnel. I know some of you would have come across this on white papers or during your B school. It talks about awareness, consideration, conversion, and loyalty. And I know I saw Umair's slide also. I think he has one slide similar to this. So seems like every marketer talks about the same funnel. What I want to do is I want to create a twist in this funnel. So think of this funnel into two different halves. One is your top part of the funnel, and the second is your bottom part of the funnel. During the COVID crisis, it might be a very good time for you to engage people on the top of your funnel. And once the COVID ends or subsides, it might be a great idea to focus on the bottom of your funnel, which means that during COVID, try to get relevant people to engage with your products. And after the COVID crisis, try to make them buy your products and buy it repeatedly. So I'll talk about 5 specific client examples of what brands have been doing during the COVID crisis. These are actual brands which we work with and actual client stories of what they have done starting from March 15th to April 15th. So the first one is about a brand called Indian Wedding Sarees. This is a brand of Indian ethnic wear which sells primarily in North America. They've been running this campaign called Smart Shopping Ads on Google AdWords. If you look on the left side, imagine a potential customer searching something like orange sarees. They would see this product at the bottom, which is of the specific attribute which they were searching. They will be able to see the price of this product and the name of this product. And when people click on this, they will be able to land on your website. Now the trick here is, this is a high intent traffic. These are people who are actually searching for your products and specific attributes of those. So the chances of them converting on your website is much higher. In this specific case, Indian Wedding Sarees saw a 20% reduction in their cost per click to 50 cents. And this is primarily because large advertisers like Amazon might have reduced their marketing on smart shopping campaigns. I know a lot of you would have searched products and you would have seen ads from Amazon and eBay. Now, because they may not be advertising with same budgets, chances of your brand appearing on Google search is much higher. The second example is of a brand, again, primarily selling in North America. This is a brand called Heritage Foods. They sell meats which are delivered directly to your doorstep. Definitely a good time for a brand like this to be marketing on Facebook. What you see on the left side is a campaign called Catalog Sales Campaign on Facebook. This is a campaign where you can connect your entire catalog and let Facebook show products from your catalog. Now, very interesting here is during the COVID crisis, try to optimize these campaigns for view content instead of purchase, because the likelihood of purchase might have come down. You want more and more people to come to your website and see your products. But important thing is, do make sure you mention the price of your product, because we want to qualify your audience who comes to your website. If you don't show the price, you might be getting people who are not going to buy on your website. So show price. Make sure your call to action button is shop now, because you want people to come with an intent to purchase, and add overlays. So the black top corner which you see on the ad is called as overlay. Typically, they help in increasing click rates. So in this specific case, Heritage Foods saw a 30% reduction in their cost per click, and they were able to get more traffic on their website who will eventually purchase from them. Third example, I know a lot of you must be spending more time on YouTube. So this means that this might be a very good time for you to advertise on YouTube. So YouTube has an option of running product ads, video ads. So what is highly recommended here is to run video ads of your product, which explain the USP of your product, the unique selling point of your product, and land people directly on the product page. But again, as I said, very important, do mention the price of your product because you want to pre-qualify the audience which is coming to your website. Indian Wedding Sarees is running on YouTube and they were able to get a much higher interaction on their YouTube ads. The fourth example is something which I know a lot of you must already be doing. This is be very active on your Instagram and Facebook pages. Now, some of you might question that what is the benefit of being active on Instagram and Facebook when you're not able to get sales? There is one feature in Facebook where you can create an audience of your Instagram page followers or people who have engaged with you on Facebook and retarget them with conversion ads. So imagine if during the COVID crisis, you were very active on your Instagram page, you were able to engage with, let's say, 10,000 people during this duration. And once the COVID ends, you will be able to show ads to these 10,000 people. And even with a 1% conversion, you might be able to get additional 100 odd sales. So very important to be active on your social pages. Again, it brings to my previous point that people have more time at their disposal. So there is a chance that they might engage with you more during this time. And the fifth example, which is last example on the COVID part of it, is from a brand called Best Solar Lighting. So Best Solar Lighting sells solar powered lights in North America. And I'll show you a video ad which they are currently running on Facebook. So this is the video ad. As you can see, videos are better when you want to explain the USP of your product. Not only that, there is a feature in Facebook again where you can create an audience of people who have engaged with your videos, which means people who have seen your 3-second videos, 6-second videos, 10-second videos, and you can show them conversion ads post-COVID crisis. So in this specific case, Best Solar Lighting was able to get 76,000 video views in the last 30 days at a cost of 10 cents per video view. So if we re-engage with the 76,000 people, again, with a 1% conversion rate, you might still be able to get good number of sales. So this is what brands have done during the COVID crisis. Of course, as any e-commerce brand, you would want to get sales. So which is why post-COVID crisis, you should focus on the bottom part of the funnel, which is basically getting more people on your website and making them purchase. So I'll talk about 4 specific examples on how you can make the most out of your post-COVID crisis. The first example is of a brand called Manyavar. Manyavar is an Indian ethnic brand, again very popular in North America. On the left side, you see a Google Analytics screenshot of it. What it essentially says is 45% of people who come to Manyavar's website purchase on the same day, but there is a big 55% people who don't purchase on the same day. They actually purchase in the next 28 days. Now, due to COVID, this number would have got skewed. This is a screenshot pre-COVID. During the COVID crisis, you will see that instead of 45%, only about 10-15% must be purchasing on the same day. There will be an 80% people who would not purchase on the same day. So run a dynamic remarketing campaign on Facebook and Google. Target people in the last 30 to 60 days who have come on your product pages and not purchased. So Manyavar is planning to do exactly that after COVID, and they should be able to get good sales from the dynamic remarketing campaign. Very similar to what I spoke about, add to cart abandonment. I think this is a very significant problem which all of us face. One statistic study which we had conducted, we found that out of 100 add to carts on your website, only about 20 people make a purchase. So there are 80 people on your website who never make a purchase after adding products to cart. So it becomes very important to run add to cart ads, where you can give a specific discount to people who added products to cart and allow them to complete the purchase. In this specific case, Goal Kick Soccer, which is a again apparel brand selling soccer related apparel in North America, they ran an add to cart abandonment campaign and they were able to get very good sales from their add to cart audience. One common thing, I know a lot of you might be running view content optimized campaigns or add to cart abandonment campaigns, but a lot of times we miss out on very valuable audience of people who have either seen our Facebook page or seen our Instagram page or seen our video views. So there is an option on platforms like Facebook and Instagram where you can remarket them. So don't forget to remarket this audience post-COVID crisis. In this specific case, this brand, just a second, this brand Bohemian Island, an apparel brand selling comfy apparel, they remarketed their page audience and they were able to get 2x return on their ad spends. Lastly, don't forget your customers. Your customers are very likely to come back to you and purchase again. There is an option on Facebook, Instagram, and Google where you can upload email IDs of your customer, you can upload phone numbers of your customer, and you can match these people on social platforms. So make sure you make the best of this feature. Upload your customer data, show them ads after COVID crisis. Clarks, which is a premium shoe brand, they did exactly that. They were able to get 10x returns just by showing ads to their customers. Very important, if you have an offline presence, do get your offline data and upload them on social platforms. So not that bad. I think there is a silver lining to COVID. I hope I was able to convince you that you should be running your marketing campaigns during this time. Very briefly about AdYogi. AdYogi is an enterprise SaaS platform. We connect with website providers like Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce. We integrate the entire catalog into AdYogi. We're able to pull all analytics around your products, identify which are your new arrivals, best performing products, and create automated ads across platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Google. We are a marketing partner of both Facebook and Google, and we optimize your campaigns across these platforms to ensure that you get the best return on ad spend. So that's about my presentation. Happy to answer questions in the panel discussion. Over to you, Manasvi.
Thanks a lot, Anshuk. I think that was very insightful. Next up, we have Umair Mohammad from Wigzo. Umair is just going to share his screen, and over to you now, Umair.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I can see live we have about 35, 40 people listening to the webinar. So awesome turnout. Really, really excited to talk to you, everyone. And thanks Anshuk for taking us through a brilliant presentation. I was honestly, these are some of the things that I keep telling merchants about, that the Forbes did a brilliant article on the exact same thing that you were mentioning, on that people should market more during a recession or during a crisis, because that's what people are constantly consuming content, and if you're part of that, it's a part of brand strategy as well, and it's part of sales strategy as well. So thank you so much for that presentation. I'm going to share my screen and take you guys through what we have to say around the same things. And like Anshuk was mentioning to everyone, what exactly is the conversion funnel, and we're going to talk about the same things about the conversion funnel. It's just that for AdYogi, the conversion funnel is they are the ones that bring the traffic onto your platform, onto your e-commerce stores. And Wigzo, by its nature, they help you convert that traffic, and I'll take you some of the strategies. So it's like a hand in glove, where AdYogi is bringing the traffic, we're converting. So this is your two biggest missiles in your arsenal for tackling. Because see, and I'll talk about the data, but a lot of our customers have lost about 30%, 25%, 20% traffic, and we're going to talk about strategies on how to tackle that and how to make sense of your data, and how to tackle some of those, and convert some of the top of the funnel. So, but I hope you guys are safe, and I hope everyone is working from home. We frankly have, it's a tough time. Everyone is trying to navigate. It's a day-to-day situation. There is no playbook to this. This has never happened to us before in our lifetime. So really, there is no way, we're experts in this. It's just that maybe by the virtue of working with 300 plus e-commerce companies, we have accumulated certain data sets that might help you guys as well. And that's all we're trying to share. So, who is this for? Obviously, this is for e-commerce merchant. And what can you do right now? How can you adapt your business? How you promote your business? Some of the research and case studies that we did. And then obviously we'll open for Q&A. I'll try and keep it short. I'll try and keep it interesting. I don't have memes as Anshuk had in his presentation, but I'll try and keep you, entertained with maybe Trump quotes by plugging them in any way in my presentation. So yeah. So anyway, just a background on Wigzo Technologies. We're 100 plus team member, growing really, really fast. We've been working with some large brands. As you can see, we have some really big brands, both in North America and India and Southeast Asia countries. And we are actually really excited with what e-commerce is going to look like, because the best conversations we're having with large retailers. Jockey is an example, and they are pumping 100 times the money they were initially planning for this financial year into their e-commerce. 100 times, and that's saying something, because they understand whenever this opens up, there is going to be a flurry on e-commerce. Now it's up to you to stay relevant, and it's up to you to as a brand, it's up to you to make sure that you are still in people's minds when they come back to shop online. A little background on me. I typically do a lot of webinars and presentations. All my pictures basically on Instagram are me speaking somewhere. But I founded this company, and I've worked with e-commerce for almost a decade now. It was the problems that I was solving with brands like Snapdeal before this, that I was able to come and build a product on top of it. And now that product is being used by a lot of mid and large segment e-commerce companies across the globe. So yeah, we've already discussed who is listening. We saw some agencies, we saw some e-commerce. So this could be for both for agencies and e-commerce companies and marketers. What can you do during the COVID-19 pandemic? And we're talking about during, because we don't really know what's going to happen and what's the world going to look like in 6 months from now. So like I said, it's day to day. Let's focus on what we can do today, tomorrow, and day after. And let's focus on building a very cohesive marketing strategy. So what do you need to change right now? What are the key points that I'll be talking about? Is first, review your business key metrics: net profit, gross profit. Now, I know it sounds really simple, but a lot of it is not possible for merchants today, because, for example, I'll talk about why I have put this point specifically, because this is one of the challenges that I've seen is the calculation of matrices like LTV and, net profit and gross profit. Why? Because while your backends like Shopify, Magento, or your custom backends, they're storing orders, and your Google Analytics is telling you how much revenue you've made, right? All of this is happening, but still, it's not mapping. Your Google Analytics data is not mapping with your transactional Shopify data, and you're not able to pinpoint, say, build a table which says, oh, this is the cost of goods sold. This is my ad spend on this. This is my the revenue that I generated. This was the discount, and this was my gross profit, and this is my net profit. And it's such an important data set, not only to realize to do how much understand how much revenue you do, but also realize how much are you making enough profit on a particular product SKU? Are you losing money? Because sometimes when you look at a broader picture and a bird's eye view, it says that you've spent $1,000 on ads and you've generated $5,000 of sales, which is great. But if you break it down, that $5,000, sometimes you've spent more money in generating sales for a product that has a higher COGS, that has a higher cost of goods sold, and sometimes that can shrink your profit margin. So you might want to promote products which has a higher gross margin right now, which has a higher chance of being sold, and able to create audiences tailored to that product. So you have to understand which segment of customer is buying. Is your customer in big spender? Are they discount shoppers? Where your segment stands as to when you have to deliver on those products. So you absolutely have to understand. And what we see in a lot of small businesses, they're not able to connect Shopify data with Google Analytics, right? So this is one of our platform which we've recently launched. It's called Audiencify. It does exactly that, and I'll talk briefly about it, and about the kind of key matrices. But also you have to review all your automation, because some automations were put in place back in the day, which is not really which is not at this moment, they're not relevant. So you have to review all your automation across all different channels. Double down on successful channels. Really important. You have to understand where your sales is coming from, what channel is working, and pause all experiments or marketing that doesn't address the current climate. So if you're doing something that doesn't address, you should just hit a pause on it and double down. So like Anshuk said, you find out whether Instagram is making you money, on Facebook, or how you're marketing to your existing customer base. Are you doing SMS, email, and tracking how much money are you spending on email, and what kind of revenue are you generating from it, so that if it's not working for you, you don't keep on sending it just in the hope that it will work someday, right? Double down on your successful channels. So you also have to adapt your content and your products and services, and who are your customers now. So analyze the last 15 days, last week, last 5 hours. Analyze the orders that are coming, the products that are being sold, what are people buying. Capture the bottom of the funnel. Talk to your audience about the fears that you have as a business. And I find this really, because when I talk to my customers and for my potential customers, I tell them that, hey, look, this is not a good time, and they understand that, and they understand that what we're trying to do is not sell them, but help them as a business, right? And obviously, you have to promote your content really extensively, because you cannot let a crisis come in between promoting your content, right? So let's take them point by point. I'll quickly go through, but I was talking about segmentation, and what we do is we've some 50 plus predefined market segments that we have created, like first purchasers, big spenders, low average order value, VIP. Now it automatically picks all these segments from the backend, from all the data from the backend, and creates in this neatly 50 plus predefined segments that you can just see what customers are buying, and you can also filter it with date. So let's say you want to see your big spenders in last 7 days. You will and you've connected your Shopify or Magento stores. So all you have to do is just toggle the and you'll be able to see. But if you're able to build these segments already in some of the platform, that's great. You also see what products these people are buying, and that's really important for you to understand what are the products that these people are buying, because then only you will be able to market. So like Anshuk was saying, that you can create these audiences in Facebook, custom audiences. Great technique, guys. Work every time, right? But imagine you could drill down into these segments and then upload these audiences by knowing what products they like. You can actually tailor your message to suit the audience that that's buying that product. So you do that. You create those segments. You have VIP shoppers, first purchasers, big spenders, low AOV, active customers. We have something called lost customers, right? So people who have not purchased with you for, let's say, 100 days or a 120 days period. Great way to win back your customer. Give them something to, give them an offer they can't refuse. Bring them back. Run win-back campaigns across Facebook, Instagram, across SMS, email, push notification, everything that you can, right? These are your customers, so they will eventually come back and buy from you. Like I said, what are your customers buying? And looking at, segment-wise, customer product analytics data is really important as well. So which products are performing better? If you have the cost of goods sold for each product, then you can actually calculate if you're making money on that product, which is really important to know in this current situation, in this climate, in this time. It's really important to know if you're making money on a particular product or not. And by combining the data from AdYogi and combining the data from Audiencify, you can actually build a very complete picture of, oh, you've spent, let's say, $100 to acquire a particular set of customers, but your cost of goods sold was really high on that product. So you actually did not make any money, versus, you spent maybe $30 and you did not get as much sales, but because of the cost of goods sold and your gross margins were healthy, you made a lot of money on that. So you have to absolutely double down on products that making you most money. At this time, cash is king. So whatever's making you money, you do that. So these are, these are some of the examples of the segments that I was talking about. VIP customers, value shoppers, very important because these are the customers that you might want to go to first when, so, and what we've done is we've actually not just segmented them, we've given them the revenue that this segment has generated, the average order value, and it's all clickable. You actually click on the segment and find out which products they've been buying. Small ticket spenders, your repeat customers, your refunders, your recently refunded orders, all of this in a single table, which we call the predefined segments. It's really, really cool, guys. But and it's developed over a period of time by understanding the needs of the e-commerce marketer. But this is something that you can do, and you need to find out these segments inside your own data. Analyzing complete picture of your you have to have you understand your retention marketing, how many repeat customers you have, how many new signups are you generating, out of which how many people are becoming. So this is great data. For example, if you had 289 signups and you only had 182 became customers, that means there are 100 customers in future value that you can. And if your order average value is, let's say, $100, those 100 customers into $100, that's $10,000 that you're missing out on. You absolutely have to find out these people and reach out to them and make sure you convert 10, 15, 20%, because they created an account on your system for a reason. That's the bottom of the funnel. That's easily convertible. That's not top of the funnel. So you have to have this data available to you. You have to understand your average revenue per user, your activated customers, your lost customer. All of this data have to be analyzed on a day-to-day basis to make sense of your business. Like I said, you have to also analyze your performance KPIs, what you're doing today versus what you did earlier, how many total orders, what is the average order value, is the average order value increasing? Because that's a great metric to find out if your marketing campaigns are aligning with the interest of the audience. Your AOV is a great metric. So, while we combine the Shopify and Google data, you can absolutely see that we are able to, you can actually, each segment becomes you can drill down into each segment, find out which products are being purchased and what are the orders that are being, what's happening with the orders. And also on our product, we have something called product level analytics. So this is great, again, for understanding if you have put up the cost of goods sold, if you have put up, so we can actually calculate the gross profits, we can actually calculate the revenue matrices, we can actually tell you what is your, refund summary, your sales summary, and you can drill down into each product. So if you're having 100 SKUs, you can actually see what's making you money, what's not making you money. And, like I said last time, that if you add the revenue, the orders, amount refunded, cost of goods sold, you will be able to calculate the gross margins on a particular product and a particular channel. So let's say CPC, what are the gross margins? Social, what is the gross margin? Email, push notification, if you're running any ads, and calculating that is of prime importance, because then you will be able to map with spends. So finding this business analytics is key to survival in this during this period where you have to absolutely know what's happening with your business. So second part, which is what I'm going to take you through, is review all automation, and all the automation that you have earlier set up, from first sign up to cart abandonment to browse abandonment to all channels, including SMS, push notification, and everything. And you have to review all automation, review the content of all automation, change it to allay the fears of your customer base. Make sure that your automation content aligns with what's happening across the world. Right? You saw how we did a webinar saying, e-commerce strategies for COVID-19, because we don't want to do a webinar saying that e-commerce best practices for ad, because you'd be like, I don't really want to know the best practices for ad. I really want to understand how to change my ads. So you understand, you get the people's attention by reviewing all automation and changing the content to suit the current climate. Like Anshuk mentioned, we saw 40% increase in Facebook, Instagram. We saw web usage is about 50% by Akamai. So all of this pent up sales are going to come back. You remember that we were talking to some of our Chinese customers and say, hey, sales are back, and they're back in numbers. We are also talking to some of the Shark Tank companies that we have on board, and they were also like that there was a period of slowdown, but people are at home and they want, and there was a gaming company that makes board games, and they were like, we cannot fulfill, we have those many orders right now, we've stopped our fulfillment. So this all is going to lead, if you market right now, if you are reaching out to your customers right now, if you're reaching out via whichever medium, whether it's ads or is push notification, email, SMS, whatever it is, you need to be present in front of your customers. You need to tell them what's happening with the business, and hopefully with a little bit of normalcy running and boredom, obviously people are sitting at home, and honestly in India it's complete lockdown, but I have approximately, I don't know, 1,300 items in my cart right now that I will be going back and purchasing as soon as the and it's opening soon. I'm not kidding. I think I'm gonna go bankrupt really soon. So this might be the last webinar I'm doing with you guys, because I have those 1,300 products that I need to buy. So yes, conversion. What's working with you right now? What are the keywords that you have? What are high intent users? Start with cart abandonment. Start with the signups that are not converting. Focus on conversion. We have a great case study, just one today. We have a great case study at the end of the presentation, which although had a dip of 30% in traffic, the sales went up by 3%. How? I'm going to talk to you about it very, very quickly. But, double down on successful channels. We actually launched 2 new features for you, for e-commerce merchants, for SMS channels. We have something we call double tap, which reduces the friction. The person does not even have to type his phone number when he's on the website. This is great top of the funnel conversion, guys. When they're on the website, all they have to do is click on that button on the website. It automatically takes them to to the SMS with a pre-typed message. They click on send, so you get consent. So there are no fears of GDPR or TCPA compliance. This is completely GDPR and TCPA compliant. And you send them, but you also capture a hard data point on top of the funnel, which is a phone number. Then you use SMS marketing strategy and you convert these customers. 40% opt-in rates, 40%, guys. So while because we were only getting 5% opt-ins on SMS, because people have to type on their small screens and they hate typing, so they just like, I don't want to do that right now. So instead of that, all they have to do is just click the button, go to the SMS, click on send, and you get their data point, so you can reach out to them today, a week later, a month later, when the crisis is over, whenever you want to reach out to them. You now have a hard data point and their consent to reach out to them. We also did, so this GIF that we have is from an Instagram story. We also did super cool integration with Instagram stories. A lot of people run story ads, and we might be doing, we were discussing it earlier, we might be doing a specific webinar for Insta story ads and SMS opt-in. So, but the cool part is that you are, on your Instagram, you're browsing Instagram, someone is running Instagram ads, but if it's your brand, person swipes up, instead of going to the website, because sometimes the Instagram in-app browser, it's horrible, it kills conversions. So you give a coupon on SMS, you get the opt-in. So you imagine the power. While you only had one way of targeting these customers is to retarget them through Facebook, you now have their phone numbers opted in from Instagram stories. Fantastic conversion rates. We have a few brands who are already signing up. Larger brands are signing up. This is a strategy that currently, larger brands will be operating. Everyone should operate it right now. I'm telling you, this is an absolute no-brainer. You run Insta story ads, CPMs are low, you get those opt-ins in, and you keep on marketing them over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. The double tap opt-in I was, talking about, you are on the app, you're on the browser, you get an opt-in saying that, hey, 40% off, you click on the button, you're taking to the SMS page, you get opted in, right? This is for people who have maybe spent 10 seconds, 15 seconds on the website. You still want to capture them without, interrupting their sale. Great way to get top of the funnel conversions. So yes, so just to very quickly summarize, review all your key business metrics, find out your gross margins, your gross product margins, your net profits, understand what's making you money right now. That's really important metric. And, obviously, and then find out the best channels to market them, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or Google ads or shopping ads like Anshuk was talking about. You find out which are the top channels that you need to market, and you do that. You focus on the products that's making you most money. And review all your automations, make sure they're aligned with today's messaging. Double down on successful channels. See if SMS, for example, is working for you. Maybe in your country, push notifications are really hot right now, or email is a channel that's reliable, and you know your email marketing audience, so you do that basically. But you make sure that you are doubling down on successful channel and slowly cutting down on channels that are not working for you. If, say, push notification is not working, why are you still continuously pursuing push notifications, right? So make sure that you pause all marketing that doesn't address the current climate and doesn't address is not making you enough money. And so we actually did Harvard Business Review did so I just wanted to add this, and this is a really cool slide that we have. Is what they did was they analyzed 4,700 public listed companies, and there is certain we can take from this. HBR did this, but they said that they had a defensive action and offensive action. And I'm talking about for small medium businesses, they can also actually take operational efficiency, what I was talking about, what products are making you most money. Employee reduction, obviously really hard decision, but sometimes you got to take it. What you got to do to survive in this environment. Offensive actions, what Anshuk and I have been talking about, market development and asset investment. Can you invest in ads today? Can you invest on different channels today to make sure you're present in front of your audience that goes so you can see the people who did both and were good in terms of sales and EBITDA numbers. And this is something that research that Harvard Business Review did. And we did our own case study. We had a client called Nisi's Dresses. Their conversion rate was up by 2.8%. Traffic down by 23%, as we're seeing across in e-commerce as the lockdown continues and some of the e-commerce freezing up, and leveraging top of the funnel techniques and specifically SMS as a channel. So she's an Instagram influencer, the female that owns it. So she used her story to get people opting into the Wigzo SMS, then run automation campaigns and give them a coupon code and discount. And she was able to not only maintain her sales with that drop in traffic, she was able to actually increase it by 3%. So you have got to think outside of the box right now. This is the time that if you do something outside of the box and it works for you, then there is no coming back. If you get successful during a pandemic, imagine what you'll do once things get back to normal. So, this is it, guys. Thank you for listening to me. Just a quick brief on Wigzo. Obviously, we connect all of the data. Obviously, you can go on the website and study. But before we go, I think we'll let Manasvi do the rest of the this thing. We have offers for our webinar listeners. An offer that actually would make a lot of sense in terms of you took the pain and came and heard us speak. So we have exclusively designed offers for you, both AdYogi and Wigzo, and we want to give that out. So I will let Manasvi do the honors here of giving out both offers.
Thanks a lot, Umair. That was very insightful. Guys, we'll be starting with the Q&A session soon, so just keep the questions coming. Umair, could you please stop sharing your screen?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so we have some very special offers running for the attendees of this webinar, and you're going to see this on your screen shortly. So as you can see, we have a 30-day free trial on the AdYogi retargeting app and a 50% off for the first month fee for the AdYogi app. And for Wigzo, we have the Audienceify free for 6 months, 20% off on SMS by Wigzo, and the SMS marketing extensive ebook is free for all the attendees. Guys, the contact details for both the teams have been shared on the chat group and are visible on your screens right now. So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes, seconds to just note these down or copy and paste these somewhere, and then we'll get started with the Q&A session. All right, let's get started with the question and answer session. The first question is for you, Anshuk. In your experience of working with e-commerce clients, how many merchants have been adapting their products to meet the current market demand, for example, manufacturing masks, etc.? Also, is there any marketing policy around mask ads?
Yes, I think that's a very, very good question. We have seen a lot of merchants, or a few merchants actually, who have turned around their product line to suit the current requirements. Like for example, we work with a feminine hygiene brand. What they did is they very quickly started manufacturing face masks, and they started selling across multiple countries. So there have been examples of people who are selling into similar categories, very quickly reorienting their product to suit the requirements. Having said that, there are some restrictions, as you asked, on Facebook, that you may not be able to sell all kinds of products. There have been cases where certain governments have banned selling certain products or exporting certain products. So what usually Facebook does is they keep changing their policies depending on the kind of product and the geography which you want to sell to. But the good news is you can always get in touch with the Facebook support team, or at AdYogi we can help you get answers to those questions. So depending on the advertising policies, certain countries, certain products, you can advertise on Facebook as long as you comply with their guidelines.
Thanks, Anshuk. Next one for Umair. Will SMS opt-in kill the conversion for Instagram?
It's a great question, and one that keeps on getting asked: that what if it's it kills the conversion rates? But so two things that actually doesn't kill the conversion rates is having a specific offer when you're doing running your opt-in campaigns, right? Have a specific coupon created only for SMS, because it's a long it can be tracked even after 30 days or maybe 20 days or even a month, so that having a specific coupon code going out in each SMS is really the key. So it has to be dynamic, and you can track those or even one coupon code, but that specifically used for that channel. Secondly, you don't show it to every customer who's on you, and you don't show it while the customer is checking out. You show it at a time when you SMS opt-in, when you think that is going to be non-intrusive. It has to be non-intrusive. It cannot affect. So it could be a small bar on top of while the person is browsing. Hey, we have an SMS opt-in. Why don't you, if you want 20%, and if he wants, then he'll just click on it and go to SMS opt-in. Now, having said that, imagine someone has that. So following up on that coupon code is really important. So eventually you will be able to track the conversions based on that coupon code as well, and how much did it bring you. And so it's all about creating list building has been around ages. So this is just a new list building technique. Earlier it was email, then email kind of after the whole promotion tab, it has kind of slowed down, but it's still a great channel. And SMS is coming up as one of the hottest channel right now, because it's underutilized, primarily because there is a lot of opt-in and data privacy concerns. And I showed you this is completely 100% TCPA and GDPR compliant. So you have to use it intelligently, and you have to use it in a way that it doesn't affect people's browsing. But you also have to let them know that there is a coupon code while they're browsing via SMS. Get them to opt in, because if you don't get them a hard data point like an email or a phone number, and phone number in this case because it's completely frictionless, then they're just anonymous browsers. They might come back to your website, they might not. You can retarget them, but essentially you don't own that data. Getting that hard data point, that can lead to becoming a customer. And each email subscriber is valued at about $38 per customer. So each SMS subscriber currently is valued at about $23. So imagine you're getting one subscriber which is valued at about $23, but just by showing a small bar on the top and without killing conversions.
Thanks, Umair. Next question is for Anshuk again. What are your suggestions for new e-commerce company? Is it the right time to start with digital marketing, in light of the current conditions?
Yes, absolutely. I think so. Typically, when you start an e-commerce company, what we usually see is it takes around 15 days to 30 days to get your initial set of prospects to come on your website. And then when you start remarketing them after a 20-day or a 30-day period, that's when you start getting the sales. Because you want to first build a little bit of a connect with the brand, only then people start purchasing with you. Now think about it. For the first 15, 20 days, all you are doing is you're getting relevant people on your website. So from that point of view, this is actually a very, very good time for you to be starting marketing, because you will be able to get these people on your website at around one half the cost. So imagine if you were spending, let's say $1,000, and you were able to get, let's say, 10,000 people on your website, or you would probably now be able to get like 20,000 people on your website just with the same cost. So if you're starting your e-commerce, this is a good time. Spend money on ads, getting initial set of people on your website for the first 30 days. And by that time, hopefully there will be some respite on the COVID crisis. That's when you start remarketing them and converting them. So this actually would turn out to be a great opportunity for you to save some money on getting your initial traction.
Thanks, Anshuk. Next one for Umair again. How much more effective is push notification or text messages when compared to emails?
Sorry. Great question again. And I think really relevant as well. So I don't see typically strategy. The strategy has to be across all channels, across push, SMS, email. Having said that, when I compare to email, SMS is new. Not a lot of brands are leveraging it. So if you are, then it has to be in a way which is fresh and relevant. So it cannot be like, you can't be just mass blasting everyone, because people will get bored of your messages, might mute you, might block you completely, the phone number. So you have to be really, really fresh with your approach. So having said that, I think when I compare them to push messages and email, so they are phone numbers are easy to capture. They have a higher opt-in rate. They have a lower per subscriber rate than email. Email is still at $38 per email subscriber, whereas SMS is about $23 to $24 per subscriber. Having said that, it's easier to capture. The opt-in rates are higher, so you end up making more money on SMS. And when it compares to push notification, obviously push was a great channel, but like marketers, they did what they did, and they absolutely abused web push notifications, which kind of led to people blocking them. I mean, there are obviously some fundamental changes that Chrome is also doing in terms of how push is being managed. So what I would say is not focus on one thing. Rather, you build a cohesive strategy for capturing whatever the customer wants to give. If he wants email, he should give it email. If he's comfortable giving phone number, then he should comfortable giving phone number. So all you have to do is align your strategy for what you want to capture at what point of time when he's browsing on the website.
Thanks, Umair. Next one is for Anshuk again. What is your suggestion to get good sales during festive season? And this one specifically for countries with Muslim population, given that Ramadan starts next week. And usually during this season, the spends are much, much higher, but this may reduce due to Corona.
Yes, absolutely. I think usually we have seen that during festive season, while a lot of your potential customers are very likely to buy your products, but just because there is so much more competition and so much ad spend chasing the same set of customers, your cost of advertising goes up. Like for example, in countries like India, we have seen around 30-40% in higher cost per advertising during festivals like Diwali, right? Now, the good part right now is because of Corona, the cost has come down. And I don't see the cost fluctuating a lot at this point in time due to festive season. because a lot of your competing brands, a lot of other brands who are competing your customers might continue to not advertise on Facebook, might continue to not advertise on Google. So this might actually be a very good time that number one, your customers are more likely to engage with you due to the festive season. And number two, that your competitors are not going as aggressive as they otherwise would. So the cost of advertising on festive season might not actually be that high as it is during other years. So my suggestion would be, I think, make the most of this situation. Any marketer who is thinking slightly from a medium to long term should actually capitalize on this opportunity, try to engage with more and more potential customers while the cost is less. And then, of course, once people are able to get a sense of your brand, they understand your brand, they've probably spoken to you a couple of times or engaged with you a couple of times, this might be very good time for you to remarket them later on and then convert it to sale. So basically the idea is, don't think about conversion just as yet. Focus on list building, as Umair has been saying. Focus on getting people to interact, and later on you can convert them.
Thanks, Anshuk. Next one is for Umair. How can we keep our customers engaged using Wigzo?
Right. So, I think inside Wigzo, what we've done is we track every activity of the customer. It's on the website, what buttons they're clicking, what pages they're viewing. So you can actually build a lot of automation across all channels. And in fact, to keep, build engagement, we have something called on-site notification as well, which is actually a great conversion technique. You can run fear of missing out campaigns, like how many inventory is left while the person is browsing the website live. Also, really cool statistic is about 85% people who add the product to cart who don't proceed to check comes back in the next 3 days. So that's a great statistic, but you don't have so you absolutely have to ask these people for their phone numbers and email addresses so that you can target them. But also, if they don't, then you target them while they're browsing the website. So using Wigzo, you can actually do all of those, build all these automation campaigns across all the different channels, and target the customer right where they are with relevant content, and it leads to about it leads to about a 7 to 8% increase in your overall conversion rate.
Thanks, Umair. This was our last question. Due to shortage of time, we've not been able to answer all the questions. But don't worry, if your question was unanswered, we'll be addressing the same via an email later on. So just drop your question if you still have one, and we'll answer it later. Thank you so much for joining, guys. It was a pleasure interacting with you guys. We'll see you around the next time. Thanks for joining. The chat contact details are in the chat if you guys want to get in touch with any of us. That's it. We'll just leave it on for a couple of seconds so you can get the contact details, and then we'll be ending the webinar. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, everyone. It was really
Thank
nice.
you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Anshuk, for having us. Really appreciate it. I absolutely love the presentation. I would like to send that presentation to my clients as well. So do send me that presentation so that.
Absolutely, Umair. Very nice interacting. I think the recording of this webinar will be available online.
Sure.
So if anybody wants to have a view of the recording, happy to do that. And we'll, of course, share the presentation, Umair.
Perfect. Thank you, A-Class. Thanks, Manasvi. And thanks, everyone who joined the webinar today. Really, really appreciate all of you guys coming out and joining us at this hour. And hopefully, we will at least added 1% value to what you're doing and your strategies over the next maybe a quarter or maybe 2 quarters. And if that is, don't scare us. Reach out to us. We're all there to help.